You're doomed.
Blood and gore is okay, but it's so much better when the characters sing about it.
All together, that and this, with all our tricks, we're making Christmas time.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horror musicals. For this list, we're looking at those films that combine both horror and musical elements into a dark, creepy experience you can sing along to.
The music of the night.
Number 10, Cannibal, the musical.
Don't you boys know how scary the mountains are?
It's typical that something this morbid came from the guys behind South Park. Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote this musical based loosely on a true story about a trip from Utah to Colorado.
Jeez, sure's a lot of walking.
That resulted in, you guessed it, the cannibalism of all but one of the passengers.
You guys just watch the fire. Nobody eat anybody.
Such a morose tale could have been a pretty big downer.
You don't think we are Indians?
But fortunately, Parker and Stone helped us stay upbeat by throwing some very cheerful sounding songs into the mix.
I think I know precisely what I mean when I say it's a spectacle day.
Shot while the duo was attending college, they claimed to have failed the film history class they were taking at the time of filming.
None of them were singing in the wrong key.
No, I wasn't. It was Lautzenheiser. I was singing an E-flat minor.
The song's an F-sharp major.
Looks like things worked out all right for these hilariously macabre dudes, though.
We apologize, and if it's okay with you, we would like to present you your long overdue trophy.
Number 9, The Devils Carnival.
Take only what you need. Well, I need it all.
This film opens with the deaths of 3 characters who find themselves in a carnivalesque hell with 666 rules.
666.
To make matters even more interesting, each of these characters ventures on a musical journey based on one of Aesop's fables.
One for the devil inside of me.
The stunning visuals, as well as the religious and fairy tale-based symbolism, elevate this intriguing premise.
I'm not in the business of murdering innocent children. That's God's jurisdiction. I deal only with the guilty.
Despite its dark humor, there's a very real sense of dread that you just can't shake, no matter how much singing and dancing there is.
I raise my hell, my cane, my stakes, my snakes. Tongues, slither in the mud. That's how a carnival grows, my son.
And we do love our horror musicals with an extra dash of dread. Number 8, The Phantom of the Opera.
Let my opera begin.
The classic 1925 horror film didn't seem like the most obvious choice of film for a musical adaptation, but Andrew Lloyd Webber made the story into one of Broadway's most successful shows ever.
Look at your face in the mirror. I am there inside.
The film adaptation, directed by Joel Schumacher and starring Gerard Butler and Emmy Rossum, manages to balance the creep factor with the dramatic flair of the score.
Whose is the face in the moss?
The story follows opera singer Christine Daae as she discovers that the opera ghost is actually a deformed musical genius who falls in love with her.
You'll share with me one love, one lifetime.
With love, music, and one of theater's most notorious anti-heroes, what more could you ask for?
Let your darker side give in to the power of the music that I write.
Number 7, Repo, the genetic opera.
Out from the night, from the mist, steps the figure. No one really knows his name for sure.
Despite underperforming at the box office, this rock opera has gained a cult following since its release.
It's my turn to shine. When the Repo Man strikes! What are you
you talking about?
Taking place in 2056, the film is set after an epidemic of organ failure has overtaken the world. Naturally, that means a biotech company has figured out a way to capitalize on this by loaning out organs. Sounds alright, actually. However, if a customer fails to pay their loan, the Repo man comes and repossesses the organs. The main plot follows young Shiloh, played by Alexa Vega, as she learns that her father is the Repo man.
Didn't imagine this.
Please, Shiloh, drop it.
Couldn't have fathomed this.
Please, Shiloh, stop
Dad,
it.
I could smell the death.
You could have died. You scare me to death.
Dark, stylish, and original. The jams from this film will stay in your head long after the credits roll.
All you've ever told me, every word is a lie.
Number 6. The happiness of the katakuris. There are some strange movies on this list, but this one just might take the cake.
Okay.
This Japanese film follows the Katakuri family, who open a bed and breakfast where all the guests somehow meet their doom. But instead of reporting the deaths, the family decides to conceal them in order to keep their business running. The film takes on a rather bizarre, farcical tone, complete with claymation sequences and ironically cheery musical numbers. After viewing this film, you likely won't have any idea what you just watched. But you'll certainly be thinking about it for quite some time. Number 5. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Now, you probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
Henry Selick directed this Tim Burton film that blends horror and musicals just as well as it blends Halloween and Christmas.
Boy, I could make a Christmas tree, and there's no reason I can find I couldn't handle Christmas time. I bet I could improve it too, and that's exactly what I'll do.
This dark stop-motion feature tells the tale of Jack Skellington, the theatrical pumpkin king of Halloween Town, who discovers and tries to embrace the lighthearted spirit of Christmas.
This year, Christmas will be ours!
With some misguided results. The visuals were revolutionary, landing the film an Oscar nomination, and the songs remain hauntingly beautiful, menacingly creepy, and downright freaky, hitting all the right notes for a family-friendly horror musical romp.
What is this?
Number 4. Phantom of the Paradise.
No more suicides, Winslow. You gave up your right to rest in peace when you signed this contract.
A not too thinly veiled rocker take on the Phantom of the Opera, this film also takes inspiration from novels like The Picture of Dorian Gray and Faust.
Never sing my music again. Not here, not anywhere. Do you understand? Never again.
A disfigured musical composer's music is stolen by the corrupt producer Swan, who thinks the composition will be perfect for the opening of his concert hall, The Paradise.
You gotta help me. Mr. Swan's got my music, and he's pretending he doesn't even know me.
After being framed and jailed, the composer decides to exact his revenge, while meanwhile falling for Phoenix, one of the singers at The Paradise.
My music is for Phoenix. Only she can sing it. Anyone else that tries dies.
The film succeeds by paying tribute to past works of horror and musicals, while also creating a truly original cinematic experience, even receiving Oscar and Golden Globe nominations for its score.
But you're working so hard that you don't even know you're alive.
Number 3. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
They all deserve to die. Tell you why, Mrs. Lovitz, tell you why.
It was a match made in heaven when Tim Burton signed on to direct Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler's Tony Award-winning musical about a serial killer barber whose partner turns the bodies of his victims into meat pies.
You wouldn't mind if I gave you a nice juicy meat pie, would you?
Si, whatever you want.
This is the kind of plot that sounds like it wouldn't work particularly well for a musical, but with songs like Epiphany, A Little Priest, and Joanna crafting an eerie mood that works on so many levels, and Johnny Depp receiving an Oscar nomination for his surprising musical theater prowess, this is easily one of Burton's better films.
And I can guarantee to give you without a penny's charge the closest shave you will ever know.
Number 2, Little Shop of Horrors. This comedy horror is based on the stage musical of the same name, and follows the nerdy Seymour as he grows an exotic plant that feeds on blood in order to impress his co-worker, Audrey.
I call it an Audrey too.
After me.
I hope you don't mind.
Naturally, things get out of hand, and gory deaths ensue. Alan Menken's score gleefully embraces both classic horror and musical elements, including a particularly jazzy singing plant who truly is the star of the show.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all night long.
Also, we won't give away any spoilers here, but be sure to check out the film's original ending, as it features one of the most horrific songs in the film, but was altered in the final edit because it was considered too dark for audiences. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
My breath still breathes. When it breathes for me.
Once I was young, my strings were all strung, but dreams and ambition have all turned to dung.
Number 1, The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Give yourself over to absolute pleasure.
Nothing else could have topped this list, because, quite simply, there is nothing else like it.
What kind of a place is this?
It's probably some kind of hunting lodge for rich weirdos.
Based on the stage play, this adaptation of The Rocky Horror Show follows the straight-laced Brad and Janet as they find themselves in the castle of Tim Curry's iconic, sexually explorative mad scientist, Dr. Frank N. Furter.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Developing a cult following that's only gained momentum.
Touch me. I wanna be dirty.
Rocky Horror is a freak show from start to finish, with catchy song after catchy song pushing the bizarre plot along. The film's legacy can still be felt decades later, as it holds the record for longest theatrical run in film history. Let's just say that seeing this in the theater is an experience like no other.
That's a rather tender subject. Another slice, anyone?
Do you agree with our list?
Oh, yes! Yes!
What's your favorite musical gore fest? For more horrifically musical top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Turn back while you still can. You're doomed. You're all doomed.